Good morning to everyone. Once again, welcome to economic class. In this class, we are going to talk and discuss about the economics, chapter number 2nd. The name of the chapter is People as a Resource. Today is 5th March 2021. In this revision series, we are going to discuss all the chapters in a gist form, as well as we are going to sort out the doubt and difficulty related to this chapter. Moving further to see notes of the chapter number 2. On 5th March 2021, in the topic of revision, the name of the chapter number 2 is People as a Resource. The very important question is that why the people are called as a resource. So dear cadet, in this revision part, I am going to explain you the chapter once again. So be prepared for that. If you are facing any doubt and difficulty, please let me know that. Next, we are going to see the first introduction part of this chapter. Next, move. First, what is human capital? So here you have to fix in your mind what is human capital. Human capital is a collection of expertise, behavior, social and personality characteristics, including imagination, reflected in the capacity to conduct work in order to produce economic benefit. So finally we are meaning, or by reading this one, what is human capital? So human capital means it's a bunch, is a collection of expertise, behavior. Then the social and the personality characteristics, including in that imagination, reflected in the capacity of conduct of work in order to produce the economic benefit. So finally, whole and soul, the people are called as a resource because they are using their own skill, knowledge to produce the goods and services. Moving further to see what's there in this chapter. In this chapter, we are going to see about human resource, activities by men and women, then the division of labor between men and women, quality of population, education. Education we are going to divide into two, advantages and step to spread the education. Then the next, negative effect, or we can speak about the impact of unemployment and sectors and the unemployment. So moving further to see these 7 points in a gist notes form, please copy down these notes in your notebook and do the regular revision. First, human resource. People as a resource is a way of referring to a country's working people in terms of their existing productive skill and ability. As I earlier stated to you, so people are a resource, so they are using their own skills, knowledge and abilities in different ways to produce the goods and services. So here people are referring the working people of the country. Next, when the existing human resource is further developed by becoming more educated and healthy, we can call that human capital formation. It adds to the productive power of the country. So India is a country which is having the huge amount of youth population. So our human resource should be strong and capable, and that human resource can be called as the human capital of our country. To gain more profit, to gain more importance and to have more productive from this human capital, we need to have an investment in human capital. So that can be the third point is speaking about through the education, training and medical care, and yield in investment in physical capital. So human capital is in a one way superior to other resources like land, physical capital, because this resource, that the human resource, can make the use of land and capital. So land and capital cannot become useful on their own. So why human capital is more important than the land and capital? That question can be asked to you in examination. So for that purpose, you have to write the answer this. What is human resource? This question can also be asked. Next, moving further to see the another slide. For many decades in India, a large population has been considered as liability rather than asset. Liability, they are the burden on the country. They were not called as an asset. But now the situation are changing. Many people in India, they are become a valuable asset for the country. A large population can be turned into a productive asset by investment in human capital, that is by sending resources on education and health for all. So by resources, which type of resources we are spending? So we are doing our investment and doing spending on the resources like health and education to all the people. So educated parents invest in education for the children, and they will become a good citizen of the country and become a valuable resource and asset for the country. They are also conscious for the proper nutrition and the hygiene. As the result of the investment in the children, the virtuous cycle is created. A virtuous cycle may be created by disadvantaged parents who themselves being uneducated keep their children in similarly disadvantaged state. So here we are going to see the division of the society of the rich people and the poor people, where they are able to make their children to a good and valuable resource. Some are in disadvantaged situation, so their children are also in that situation. Now the economic activities by men and women. So as we are knowing about economic activities are the three activities: primary, secondary and tertiary, which are called as that the primary, secondary and tertiary, in that the few examples are placed here. So primary sectors, which consist including the agriculture, forestry, animal husbandry, fishing, poultry farming and mining. Secondary, related to manufacturing, construction, are included in the secondary sector. And last, that is called as the service sector. That's the tertiary sector, in that the trade, transport, communication, banking, education, health, tourism, services, insurance, etc. are included in this service activity. Next, already in our previous explanatory videos, I stated about the economic activities. What are economic activities? What are non-economic activities? Let's check out. So defining economic activity also called as a market activities, are those activities in which income is got in return for the work done. So that means it's a final one, economic activities, in that the remuneration to anyone who perform the activity, that perform or by then person, in that they are going to get a pay or a profit. This includes the production of goods and services and includes the government services. Next, non-economic activity, which are done for the production for the self-consumption or for the charity purpose, we can speak about. So the differentiation in the about on this, differentiate between economic activities and non-economic activities, the question can be there, or differentiate between market activity or non-market activity, the question can be present in examination. Next point is the division of labor between men and women. So as we are seeing the history and the culture, there is a gap between the division of labor between men and women in the family. So woman has to generally look out the domestic work, and the man has to do the work in the field. That means outside the home and inside the home. So the woman who works in the home is not paid anything, while the men who work outside, those earn wages. So by seeing this, you can understand about the division of labor. And women get paid for their work only when they entered in the labor market. The earning of women are determined on the basis of the skill and education. Education and skill are the major determinants of the earning of any individual in the market. So women have very less education and low skill formation. That's why they are low paid in comparison to the men. So the division of labor between men and women is clear to all of you. Next, we are moving to see the another point. That's the quality of population. So the quality of population we are going to determine on the two phases, that the health and the education first. So the quality of the population depends upon the literacy. That means we are talking about the education. So literacy rate, then health and the skill formation. Then health of the person indicates by life expectancy. What is that? It is already explained into a regular video. Please go through it. In the textbook also what is life expectancy, it's given. Please go through it. The quality of population decides the growth rate of the country. And illiterate and unhealthy population are the liability for the country. That means the people, those who are uneducated and unhealthy, that population totally will become a burden on the country. They are not going to be a valuable asset for the country. So that's why the quality of the population need the good literacy rate, good health and good skill formation in that. Next, to check about the education and the health facilities from the government. First, education. So we are talking about the advantages here. So in that A, B, C, first we will discuss here. Education contributes towards the growth of society. It enhances the national income, cultural richness and the efficiency of the government. It helps to get jobs and increase the income. If the person is educated, it's going to surely going to contribute to the society, and it is going to enhance the national income. It's going to enrich the culture and the efficiency of the government. It's going to help increase in the income and going to be get job. Literacy rate have increased from 18% in 1951 to 65% in 2001. So the data is speaking about the goodness, the major achievement of education in India. So how the literacy rate is increased in India, you can see here. The literacy among the males is nearly 50% higher than the female, is about 50% higher in urban areas compared to the rural area. Again here you can see about the division of the literacy rate also between the men and women. Step to spread the education. As we are talking about the spending in the education and in the health facility, here we are going to see about Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan. That was the most valuable and significant step toward providing the free elementary education to all the children who are the age of 6 to 14 years by 2010. And in that, midday meal scheme is also implemented and has been implemented in number of the school to encourage the attendance and to reduce the dropout. The next, and to improve the more nutritious status. The 10th plan aimed to increase the enrollment in the higher education of the 18 to 23 years age group. The 10th plan also focused on the distance education and for the formal as well as informal education, that means the IT education institution. Next topic is about the health. Next we are going to see about the health of the people or a person help to him to realize his own potentiality and the ability to fight the illness. That's going to be the health. The unhealthy person become a liability for the organization, and health of an indispensable basis for the realize one's whole well-being. So that's why it is called as health is wealth. If you are healthy, then you can do the work very effectively with your own potentiality and your ability and different skills. So that's why healthy population is important for the country. The national health policy to aims to improving the accessibility of the health care as well as family welfare and the nutritional services, especially for the weaker and the unprivileged sectors of the society, that earlierly we were seeing about the disadvantaged people, and the children are also in that same condition. So government through these type of policies is helping to them. Next, unemployment. So what is unemployment? In upcoming chapter we are going to see about the poverty as a challenge. In that we will discuss this all topic in a very effective way. So here we are going to see about what is unemployment. Unemployment, that's a situation in that a person is willing to work but not finding the job to fulfill the basic needs of this life. It is said to exist when the people are willing to work at the going wages cannot find the job. Next, seasonal unemployment. So here we are going to see about the two types of unemployment, seasonal as well as disguised unemployment. So here seasonal unemployment happens when people are not able to find the job during some months or a year during the seasonal nature of the work. Basically, it used to happen in the agriculture sector. Next, disguised unemployment. In the case of disguised unemployment, people appear to be employed, but they are not actually employed. They are not working to their full potential. A family of 8 person are working on a farm, whereas the work requires the services of only 5 people. So the remaining 3 person are extra to the working on the farm. So they are said to be disguisedly unemployed. Next, C. That's going to be called as educated unemployment. In case of urban area, educated unemployment has become a common feature. The unemployment of graduated and postgraduated has been increased faster than the among in the metropolis. So here, why educated unemployment is particular in India? For that question, this answer you have to reflect in the answer paper. So we are going to see about the negative effects, or we can speak about the impacts of unemployment. If unemployment is there, what's the effect will be there? So here we are seeing unemployment leads to the wastage of manpower resource. People who are asset of the country turned into the liability. That means the liable on the country. There is a feeling of helplessness and disappear among the youth. So you can see about the helplessness and despair among the youth, and that's going to make the people burden on the country. People don't have enough money to support their families. That's also impact of unemployment. The dependence of the unemployment or the unemployed on the working population increase. The quality of life of an individual as well as the society is negatively affected. In conditions of bare subsistence, there is a general decline in the health status and increased the dropout from the school. It will also happen because that's the negative effects of unemployment. Unemployment has a detrimental impact on overall economic growth. So that's all the points which are speaking about the negative effects of unemployment. So in this chapter finally we had seen about all the basic points which covers, and going to speak about how the human resource can become a valuable resource for the country and can be called as the human capital. So dear cadet, please do the revision points in a systematic way to understand this chapter, as your parent also send it to you school to become a valuable resource. They are investing in the form of education for your future to become a good resource, a good asset for the country. Next, lastly, I want to tell you about the sectors and unemployment. So agriculture is the most valuable absorbing sectors of the economy. The secondary sector, small scale manufacturing, is the most labor absorbing. The tertiary sector, various new services are now appearing like the biotechnology and the IT service, that's a call center. And some of the surplus labor in agriculture has moved either to the secondary or the tertiary one. And lastly, I want to tell to each and everyone, please do the revision part very seriously. Thanking to each and everyone